Welcome to a tutorial on how to make a basic isometric drawing using limited resources. So isometric simply means equal measures, and an isometric drawing is how all designers in D&T or pupils in D&T as well need to visualize their designs, their ideas. On the screen you'll see I have a few basic pieces of equipment. Now, you may or may not have these things. The most important one is the pencil. Okay, so if you only have a pencil, you can still do this tutorial. Obviously, keeping your pencil sharp is important, and rubbing out any errors is also useful, but you don't necessarily need these. A ruler is going to be really helpful too. Now, if you have either a set square like this or a protractor, then fantastic, and I can show you how to use those for this technique. If you don't worry about it at all, okay, because we can just estimate the angle. So isometric drawings are a way of drawing a three-dimensional object, and I'm going to show you exactly how that works. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the front leading edge of our cube. Okay, so we're just going to, in the middle of our page, we're going to draw a vertical line. I'm going to make mine around 4 centimeters long. If you don't have a ruler, just do it freehand. Okay, it really doesn't matter. It's just about understanding the technique and the principles of isometric drawing. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my horizontal plane. Okay, now if we had a drawing board or we had some isometric paper, we wouldn't need to do any of this, but because we don't, in lockdown we don't necessarily have the materials and the resources that we need. What we're going to do is show you how to do it without. So we're going to draw a horizontal line like so. What I'm going to do is also draw a second line that's exactly parallel to the first one. If you're doing it freehand and you find it quite difficult to do a dashed line, just do a lighter sketch. The only reason I'm doing it like this is so that you can see it clearly on the camera. Otherwise I would have used a much lighter line that could more easily be rubbed out. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to show the side of our cube, okay? And to do that, we're going to need to draw a diagonal line that is exactly 30 degrees from our horizontal base, okay? So that's how isometric drawings are always done, and using isometric paper means that we don't ever have to measure that angle. If we have a set square like this, a bigger one that is actually slightly different angle, so this is actually a 45-degree angle. You could get away with using this if you wish to, okay, and I'll show you, but it's not exactly accurate to isometric, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my protractor, and I'm going to place my protractor over that central line that I've already drawn, the vertical line, and I'm going to just find the 30 degrees and do a little mark on my page there. And whilst I'm here, I'm going to do it on the other side as well. Okay, so 30 degrees, 30 degrees. If you don't have either of the, if you only have a 45-degree angle, you could use that instead. Just understand that you could use that and you could draw a line here. It just will be a 45-degree isometric drawing instead of 30. It will still work perfectly fine. It just won't be the proper principles that we normally would use for isometric drawing. So next we're going to draw from this point here, the center point, we're going to draw our line along the side, meeting up with where I've put my 30-degree angle dot. Okay, I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. So I'm going to join up there and there. I'm just going to show you below really quickly Now, if you didn't have any of these materials, you could still do exactly the same process. So the first thing is you could really lightly sketch a horizontal line without a ruler, not a problem. You can draw a vertical line without a ruler, and you can guess this angle, okay? You can guess it. It really doesn't matter if you don't get it spot on. Try to get both sides the same. Again, that's not very easy, but if I was to sort of come across here very lightly with my pencil, I'd know that it's about there that I'm aiming for, and I'd just really lightly guess it like so. Okay, so you can do it with or without these tools. Right, next, I'm going to come back to my original drawing, move the page down a little bit, and come back with my protractor, and I'm going to place my protractor on the top of this vertical line now, making sure that it's aligned with the dotted line like so. And once again, I'm going to mark off 30 degrees and 30 degrees. And this time, you guessed it, we're going to join up here and here. And here and here. Okay, great. So now we need to put the sides of our cube in, and it depends on what you're designing and what you're drawing. You can make it thinner on this side, you can make it thicker on this side, it really doesn't matter. But for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm actually going to make it the thickness of my ruler, okay? And that's just a really simple little life hack, if you like, that I use, because it means that I don't have to, I know that this is a parallel line to this line. So I'm going to join those top and bottom lines up there. And because I'm making a cube that has equal sides, I'm going to draw like that. And obviously I can then use my eraser to get rid of the parts of the line that I no longer need. So it's starting to now look like one side of a cube, the other side of a cube. This is the top part of the cube, and as you can see, we've still got our top two lines to put in. So this line that goes from here up to the top corner must be parallel to this line here. So again, another simple life hack. We take our ruler, we line it up on this edge, and then exactly as we planned, we're able to draw that line there, and we do the exact same on this side. And it should mean that we've got our two lines there. Another way you could do that, if you were doing it not using the width of a ruler and you're not confident you can judge making it parallel, you could of course draw yourself another horizontal guideline in here, and you could of course measure that angle 30 degrees here and the same 30 degrees there. Okay, and that would help you, you're just repeating the same process up the drawing. So now you have a cube drawn in 30-degree isometric projection. You simply just need to rub out the lines that you no longer need. Now I say this in all my tutorials, I'm always drawing much firmer than I encourage you to, and that's simply so the camera picks it up and it's really nice and clear for you. If you've drawn this nice and lightly, it'll be really easy to rub out those lines that you no longer need. Okay, so you can rub out all of these construction lines and you end up with your cube drawn in isometric projection. Just coming back to my version below, for those of you that don't have the correct tools, you can just do it all by judgment. So this line needs to be parallel to this line. I'm not suggesting I'm going to do this perfectly. That's why I'm going over it a number of times, moving my hand nice and loosely. You could even find it easier to turn your page around. Okay, and you're going to draw this line. This is parallel to that one. Turn your page back around like so. You might turn your page upwards so that you can draw this line a bit easier that's parallel to there, and the line that's parallel to there. like so. Keep moving it around. We're drawing another line here that's parallel to that one. And moving it around again, we've got to draw another line there, parallel to that one, like so. Easy peasy. Last thing, as an extra challenge, what you can do is you can have some tonal shading, and you can decide where your light source is coming from. So you can put a little arrow, perhaps from top left, and you can either write L, or you can have a little sunshine if you like, however you want it to be, or even a light bulb, doesn't matter. And if the light's coming from this side, you know that this opposite side of your cube is going to be darkest. This will be a mid-tone, and then the top, because of where the light's coming from, that angle will be the lightest. And then what you can do is take your time over this part. You can shade this panel in. Now notice when I'm shading, I'm going in the same direction as the base line of the cube, and I'm just working my way up gradually. Okay, so I'm never shading in strange directions. We're always trying to use the form, the imagined three-dimensional form, and we're shading along. We're imagining that that is the side of the cube and it's going in that direction, and we're imagining that our pencil is simply just stroking the side of it, going from side to side, like so. You'll notice I'm not going all the way to the edges. That's so that I don't make any mistakes and go over, although it doesn't matter, because you can always use an eraser if that happens. I'm doing this so much faster than I'd expect you to. Really, you just need to take your time. The smaller the strokes, so don't try and do really, really long strokes. The smaller the strokes, the better it will be. I'm just doing it a bit faster so that we can speed up the process of the video, so it's not too long. There we go. Now, when it comes to the edges, just shorten your stroke width. So you're working in the same direction, still at that 30-degree angle, but you're moving your pencil much shorter from side to side, so it's a lot easier. And then just finally switch your pencil direction around to vertical, like so. Okay, like that. And then this side, this will be a slightly lighter tone. So again, I might find it easier just to rotate my page slightly so that I can work along that horizontally. We don't need to worry so much about this edge because we've got the shading already on that side. So we can be a little bit quicker on that edge, which is useful. So I'm not pressing nearly as hard, although at the bottom you can press a little bit firmer. But as you come up towards the light source, it will get a bit lighter, so you can afford to just press a bit lighter there. There we go. We'll leave the top one white. And the last thing that you can do, just to bring it to life a little bit more, so you can create a little shadow. I'm doing the shadow completely horizontally, so it's in line with that original dotted line that I drew. And that's so that we can get the impression that the ground is flat like this. And actually what you could do to really bring it to life is you could draw over your dotted line here and pretend that that's the edge of a desk, for example, and that this cube is sitting on that horizontal plane, like so. And of course, because the light's coming from this angle, we've got the shadow will be on the opposite side, like so. And you can always add some shading to this edge, just to give the illusion that it's on a desk. And perhaps this is the background, just fading off into the background behind. There you go. That is a basic isometric projection of a cube with extra challenge shading.